Well, that took a ridiculous long time, but we finally have it done. I told it to set it to the queue, which popped up our media encoder software, which is this floating window, and you can see up here in the application bar that it's now media encoder. And so far in our queue, we have one item. We have a QuickTime rendition that is called the Master Movie, and it's ready to go. So from here, we want to make some other versions. Obviously, we don't want to spend all that time doing one at a time. So we have a preset browser in here, which allows us to choose from different rendering presets for various devices and for various outputs. And we're going to add a few more to this queue. And then when we tell it to start, it's going to process through all of them at once. So not too terribly long ago, the dominant way for viewing movies were televisions and film projection systems. So now you guys well know that we're downloading and streaming on a variety of devices, everything from our large TVs to our iPads to our phones. So we need to take that into mind. So what we want to do is ensure that our movie will download as quickly as possible and look as good as possible on any given device. And to do that, we have to render something specific for each device. So this is going to compress the raw video that can be downloaded quickly. So over here in your render queue, I want you to just click on and highlight the Poolside BTS Final, our main document. And when that's highlighted, come over here to the left where we have the preset browser. You might need to make this taller or shorter. Most of mine were spun open, but I spun them shut just to kind of show you what we have here. So the preset that we already made is our QuickTime ProRes. So this is our master that we already made. But there's some presets already built in here. So if we knew we wanted to go to TV broadcast, here are some presets. If we knew that we wanted to go to devices and we want to go to mobile devices, here are a variety of presets. Mobile devices, 480 pixels, standard definition wide, 720 pixels, high def, 820 pixels, high def, or 2160 pixels, and that's 4K. So you can imagine they're getting bigger and bigger as we go through here. This is the smallest, and here's the physical dimensions, 176 by 144. So think of the smallest output, and that's very likely what you would use that for. Maybe a very small smartphone. There's some DVD and Blu-ray outputs, other web video. If we come down here to social media, this is where we're going to find a lot that we're going to be using. 720, the 1080, full high def, or the 4K Ultra. That's obviously going to be huge. We have settings for Twitter, Vimeo, and YouTube here as well. So of all these options that we've looked at, there's a few that we're going to use. The first one, under devices, we're going to twirl open mobile. And the option that we want is a mobile device that uses 720 pixels. That's not super huge, but it's still high D. We're going to take that and we're going to drag it into the queue and let go, and it should appear here. It's going to create another render instance. It's going to show up on the line below here at some point. Boy, I tell you, everything is slow today. That took a little bit of time, but it did populate, and it actually put it at the top of the stack. It doesn't really matter, but by dragging it from here, when you're hovering in this screen, you'll see the little plus sign, and when you let go, it should put it here as we see. All right, first thing we want to do for this is we want to change this one. This second version that we just did is not a master, so we want to click on the name here, and we want to rename this Poolside BTS Final Tablet. So we're going to rename this. I've had a whole lot of beach balls today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting pretty frustrated with the success of my machine here. Okay, it finally popped up. So instead of being Poolside BTS Master, we're going to call this Poolside BTS Final _ Tablet. So this is the one that is at the 720 pixels wide that would be best viewed on a tablet. And then say state. Oh, say save. I give up. So here it is. It says tablet. All right, the next one that we're going to do is we're going to look for something smaller. We want it to be 480. So this is physically even smaller than the tablet size. So we're going to take this device, 480p standard def wide, bring it over here. I see the plus sign. I let go. Oh, that one popped up quickly. Here it is. Obviously it's not called master, so we need to rename that one. Oh, things are working fast now. This one we're going to call final, and then smartphone, to be on a phone. All right, now we're going to do some social media. So come down here to the web video and the social media options, and we want to do one specific to YouTube. We want to do the YouTube 720 high def, and we're going to drag this one into our queue as well. There it is. And you can see it still has the name of the last one, which is smartphone. We obviously don't want smartphone 1. We want this one to be the final for YouTube. And we're going to save that as well. And let's do one more. That was a 720. Let's do a Facebook 1080p, so a larger version for Facebook. Click, we're going to drag it over here, let go, there it is. Click on the name, and we're going to change the name of this one to be called, I don't know what we're calling it, web, but at any rate, we're calling this web. And click save. All right, one last thing to check before we fire this up. In our Adobe Media Encoder, come up here and get the beach ball. We want to check our preferences. So if you're on a Mac, it's going to be under the name of the application. If you're on a PC, it's under File Preferences. But get to your preferences, and in the General Preferences, we want to make sure that enable parallel encoding is here. So where are you? Right here. Enable parallel recording with encoding. What that means is that all 5 of these are going to process at the same time. Obviously, the biggest, slowest one dictates how long this is going to take, but the other ones are going to finish out even faster. So that's good. Hopefully that was the preset and we're good. And then we're going to say, okay, at the bottom of the preferences window, and now in our media encoder, the top right, we see a little green front arrow up here at the top right, and that says start the queue. And we're going to push that. And as this is rendering, we're going to see little output previews down here. And this will take a while, but eventually we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versions. We're going to have our master and a mobile version, several mobile versions, but for different outputs. So while this is working, you can walk away. And oh great, I already have one that failed. I guess I'll come back and see how this works when we're done. So I'm going to stop right now. All right, I'm popping back in just briefly to show you the process. My first one has failed, and I mentioned that before, but I'd like you to see how the other device versions are moving along here, and it looks like there's about 12 minutes left. When we're done, I'm going to show you where this is and what it looks like, and explain a little bit more about how you're going to output your final commercial and your final project.